with caution.
Here we go. What is up, everyone, and welcome to another highlights week. This time around we are at week 4 of the Red Alert Global League season 13. My name is Caution. I will be your host and commentator for tonight as usual. But before we get into it, we are going to review the forum post that our RGL reporter Mr. Triple TP always sets up beforehand. So let's get straight into that. Alright, so unfortunately week 4 came with 2 season forfeits. Tux due to business, oh my god, he did it. Tux is now a Bane. That's crazy. And Talix, you know, I forgive Talix because he had I think some illness going on and stuff like that. I can't remember, but it was pretty serious due to unforeseen circumstances. Despite this, there were still a good number of matches. Milkman wins the award for the first player to finish the season, and he even managed to play his match against Talix before the forfeit. That's good. Really well done. So we've got Master Match of the Week. My pick for Match of the Week was between Dur-E and Yunano. Yunano is currently joint top in terms of matches played in Masters, alongside Cav and Blackened. So we got Eugenator versus Maceman, aka Dur-E versus Yunano, as the Masters Match of the Week. Best of the rest is going to be living in Australia. It comes with some challenges when scheduling matches, and so Anju has only just started the season this week. He's played 3 matches now, and this one against Gaseous was very nice. Okay, so we got Anju versus Gaseous as well. Then looking at minions, Mo has been through some ups and downs this week, initially requesting delays while his computer was fixed, but then getting it back 2 weeks ahead of schedule. So we got Mo versus Sigil tonight as well. Honorable mentions are Blackened versus Dang and Blackened versus Daughter. Blackened managed to play 5 matches this week, which is half of the season. Here are a couple of his matches from this week. Firstly, he's up against Dang, who's been looking very solid so far. That is true. I think we saw matches of Dang versus Cav last week on stream. Secondly, here's Blackened's match against Daughter. Okay, so we got a juicy amount of master matches on our hands, and only 1 minion match so far. And you know, it's I really like to see that. Like we saw a lot of minions matches the first week. I do have to say shout out to the minions players actually playing so solidly from the start of the season, like straight away playing all their matches they were intended to play. And Masters, as usual, you know, it's a legacy so far, but they'll be lacking, they'll be slacking, and they'll be delaying until they can delay no more. So yeah, let's just get it straight. Let's just go straight into it. We've got Blackened versus Dang, Mo versus Sigil, Blackened versus Daughter, Dur-E versus Yunano, and Anju versus Gaseous. I'm just going to do top to bottom because, you know, it should be fine. So let's start with Blackened versus Dang, game number 1. And what I've seen so far, there's one match which is kind of crazy. This match takes 37 minutes and 26 seconds, and this match is 23 minutes and 41 seconds. Mo versus Sigil is possibly, if there's an award for that, the longest set that there is. Tux lost 2-0 to Cavern, rage quitted RGL. Bro, what a bitch. And then he's going like, yeah, I've got so much work to do, I've got so much stuff, I can't handle it. But he just lost, you know, like, it is what it is, you know. Anyways, this is a, like, if there was an award for the longest set, probably the award goes to these guys. That is crazy. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a drink, because we are going to be here for a while. So let's start off with Blackened versus Dang. Now, I'm actually looking forward to this match because, like I said, Dang, this is the first time that Dang is in a RGL season, but that doesn't mean he's not popular. Dang is probably considered one of the strongest players currently in OpenRA. He took players out like Cav. He's been a top dog in most of the dark tournaments, so he has been competing, but this is actually the first time where he's actually playing in the Masters League, and he's been already kicking it off last week playing against Cav. And he also played like a best of 7 against Cavs some months ago, which he came on top on as well. But his opponent is none other than Blackened, and Blackened has been doing pretty well lately in our OpenRA as well, especially RGL last season, where he got second place, just losing to Despero. So yeah, Blackened is definitely one of the top 5 players currently in the RGL Masters division, I would say. And Dang is a strong competitor to kick him off that as well. So we're playing on Greener Pastures. I think this one is called. Yes, sir. And we've got a Soviet mirror on our hands. Both players are playing Ukraine. So we got Blackened in the bottom left and we got Dang in the top right. Hey, what's up, Duppin? How you doing, man? You're just in time because we're about to get started. So here we go, straight off the bat. Dang is defending the hospital and already has a good concave, but Blackened is approaching from a good angle where the vision of the dog is not working out, but immediately Dang moving away those rifles. So yeah, good angle. Oh, but the dog got shot. A little bit poor micro here from Blackened, and that's gonna pay off for Dang, this defender's advantage. In the meantime, he managed to defend his oil here in the top left as well. Escort got killed. Ooh, okay. Giving the dog some free breakfast here. Nice play from Dang so far. He took a very good trade, and that will force him to be able to take the hospital. He will have the hospital, the oil in the top left, and you know, he can also get the oil in the bottom right if he wants to. In the meantime, Blackened is going to be aggressive and he's gonna try and get some reinforcements. He almost got away with getting a rocket. Well, he'll be a little bit too late for that one. But yeah, early game definitely going to Dang so far. So he's gonna put up the pressure. He's probably going to take out this oil as well to deny Blackened any more resources. And I can't agree, you know, I can't disagree with that one. It's definitely what he should do, because he won the early game. There is not going to be any competition from Blackened, but he's going to be able to get the dog because of the flak truck. And actually, that getting that dog kill is pretty good, because that will deny Dang from taking out this flak truck effectively. Rifles from Blackened trying to do the same thing, but they will get denied by the APC. It's a pretty good APC for Dang, and Blackened will not get the same result with the flak truck, especially because Dang has the hospital as well, so that's gonna serve him pretty well. And all of his rifles got destroyed there. Good play from Dang. And yeah, I was looking at the chat. It did seem that Blackened forgot his second batch of infantry. He also didn't build any rockets yet, so he was floating for a little bit, but it's not the worst thing. But this is good from Blackened. He's going to use his flak truck to get rid of the rifle scouts. He still got the engineer up there, so he can take back that oil. The thing is Dang going to let that happen? He surely must have seen the rifles getting killed, but so far he's focused on the bottom right oil. But if I were Dang, I would probably maybe send two rifles back up there, or at least one. Because usually if you see a light vehicle taking out the rifleman next to an oil, it's most likely going to be because they want to capture it, you know? Same thing can be said for Dang. Blackened went for an extra APC and a heavy tank before MCV. I feel like getting a couple of tanks on this map before MCV is a good strategy, because there's a pretty decent amount of starting ore, plus you have 4 mines to your disposal as well. Okay, Dang was actually sending a rifle over there. I like it, but once again, Blackened here with the awareness. Smooth expansion with an immediate eco slide at the perfect timing. Let's have a look at the army value so far. Blackened actually ahead in army value, which is kind of crazy, but well, not really, because he went for the heavy tank. So, but actually this heavy tank might be good if Dang decides to move out faster. And I like this as well. The setup from Blackened is really good. So he moved up his entire army, including the heavy tank, but the concave from Dang is just way too good. Look at this. Even with a heavy tank and an extra APC, His army is getting cleaned up. But I do have to say, very nice strategy from Blackened. So he timed it correctly with the engineer. That was very much on point. So he went for the oil capture, forcing Dang to move his army over there. And then Blackened was there in between the shroud, in between the fog of war, ready with his army waiting for a counterplay from Dang. Like, the game plan was there, but the execution unfortunately did not work out. Dang came out on top. Even without having the support of a heavy tank, he still managed to clutch it out. Army values are still fairly even, but Blackened is definitely behind in terms of expansions, as we can see. Dang is going to get that oil back, so that means he has control over 3 oil, so he should be able to start floating a little bit soon. Yeah, he's already floating 4k. And here comes the flank, but the flank immediately gets spotted by Dang. Blackened obviously knows Dang as well, so he knows that Dang knows, and he is going to retreat. And you know, it's a little bit of, it's hard to say. Like, sometimes it can be worth of just keep going upwards, and sometimes it's just better to retreat. Playing against Dang, it is the right choice from Blackened to actually retreat, because otherwise he would have gotten destroyed by this army over here. But unfortunately, Dang is doing the exact same thing, and Blackened does not have any scouts set up, so this is going to hurt Blackened a lot. Flak truck scouts gets taken out. Main MCV from Dang has moved out. Blackened is doing the same thing, sorta, not entirely. Blackened does this quite a bit. He likes to move out the main MCV just a little bit so he can reach that patch, but at the same time he wants to keep his MCV close to the main base to, you know, be able to still get some static defenses there and protect the base. But nice reaction from Blackened moving away the Harvester. Nice counter reaction from Dang here. He's going to take out the refineries and he's going to leave. In the meantime, there's a multi-prong going on the right side, sniping the refinery immediately and retreating as well. And he will get out of there safe and sound. Very nice. And even a third attack here on the bottom right. Holy shit. This man is crazy. Took out a Harvester, a triple multi-prong attack, and a very effective one, I have to say. This army might get caught, but it's, regardless if this army dies or not, it has already paid off. Blackened lost his eco over here, Blackened lost his eco over here, and here comes the attack into the main base. So Dang, aware that Blackened's army completely out of position, and once again he's doing a multi-prong attack. He is going to get the war factory. Is he going to press on? He is going to press on, but he has a very good scouting army on the right here as well. He knows exactly where Blackened's army is. He also knows exactly how much time he has left to deal damage into the main base. So he gets 2 Harvesters out of that. He got the War Factory. He is going to get the Raider Dome. And I'm assuming after the Raider Dome, he is probably going to retreat. Yep. Exactly. So I don't think the army is going to stay alive. Here's another attack. Once again on the right side. Blackened is being played by a violin. Like a violin, I would say. This is crazy. In the meantime, there's this one flank from Blackened that he never got to use because he got pressured so much by Dang. So another Harvester is going to go down here. These 2 Harvesters are low like hell. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That poor engineer. He didn't even have anything to do with that. Okay, well. Flank. Actually, the flank from Blackened is still going to be effective. Dang has been put on so much pressure that he probably this time didn't even see the flank passing by. Yeah, look at the micro. This is exactly what look at the micro from Dang, actually with the rifles targeting the rockets so that they ignore the heavy tank. This is the first player that I've seen doing this besides for myself. I do this when I do this, for example, is when the Soviet player pops an Iron Curtain. That's where I also target rockets and rifles with my riflemen to just keep it effective. But even though Dang lost his war factory, it's not the worst thing in the world because he has another one. It's 20k versus 17k. So Blackened has been managing pretty well in terms of keeping up with army value. He's gonna try and go for a counterattack. Big feet 2 shot. Ooh! Could have been better, but that is still a very juicy shot. But I don't think it's gonna be enough to hold. Maybe with the support of static defenses, it might be enough to hold. The second V2 shot misses completely. Oh, nice V2 shot there from Blackened. Very nice focus on that one. Heavy tanks are gonna try and go for crushes. Actually, Blackened might be able to lose this engagement just because of the lack of rocket soldiers. He wasn't able to penetrate to the armor from Dang, and Dang takes the first game. Very, very incredible eco harassment. That is the only reason why Dang won. Like the army positioning, and especially someone managed it in the spec chat as well, but the actual timing of these 3 attacks simultaneously happening was crazy. An attack over here, an attack over here, and an attack over here all started at the exact same. It was all in a time span of 10 seconds. All of them started simultaneously. Well played by Dang. And let's see if Blackened can avenge himself in this second game.
Battle control initialized.
So we are playing on Infection this time. This is a map made by Whippy. It's probably one of my favorites. But unfortunately, it doesn't get picked that much. And maybe it has to do because of the fact that maybe people don't like the fact that you have to fight creeps in order to get these neutral structures. But to be honest, I really like this. I feel like it's like a PvE element that has been combined into, you know, a 1v1 map. So let's see how Blackened and Dang are going to deal with this. So now there's a little difference this time. Dang is playing allies and Blackened is once again Soviets. Forgot how incredible Dang is. Dang is definitely incredible. So it's a pleasure seeing him, and it's gonna be interesting to see how he will fare against a player like Despro. So I think the top 5 for this season, this is just my opinion, it's what is going down. I think the finals are going to go down between Dang and Despro, followed by 3rd place Cav, followed by 4th place Blackened, followed by 5th place, I believe, you know, I'm not going to look at the scores, I could be completely wrong, but it's either going to be Yunano or Dirty, or maybe Gaseous, or even Ups. 5th place is a little bit of a guess for me, but top 4 is definitely going to be Dang, Cav, Despro, and Blackened. We have to see if that's true. Okay, creeps are being killed left and right for now. Very passive gameplay from both. However, we could have our first engagement here on the right side. So let's have a look at how people are building their army. So we got 20 rifles for Dang, 21 rifles actually, so a lot of rifles. Blackened absolutely got destroyed there on the right side. With 2 medics as well and only 2 rockets. Blackened, for some reason, went 5 rockets this early on. That's actually crazy. 5 rockets. But a big investment from Dang as well. But he's going to win that engagement on the right side, and he's going for that oil. So both players have two oils at their disposal. I think it's actually smart from Blackened that he went for this oil first. It's not the closest one to your main base, but it's the easiest one to get. So Blackened probably had like 100 or 200 extra money in comparison to Dang. Dang is now going for the Neutral buildings on the right side. I think he with the perfect choice going for a light tank. Because the creeps can actually be pretty, they can be dangerous. Especially if you're going for a ranger, but he should have a big enough army to deal with the creeps effectively. Let's see how it turns out. Trying to go for crushes as well. Yeah, takes it out. Easy peasy. And Dang will now be in control of these neutral buildings on the right side. Blackened is already lurking there with an NG as well. But he actually might lose it because of the path finding. And yeah, he is going to lose it. That's a very expensive scout. But the NG goes down. And so far, yeah, no aggression from Blackened at all. He's going to play very defensively. He went for a radar dome over Service Depot. I feel like this is also one of those maps where you can pull that off. Just because of the fact of how much starting ore you have on this map as well. Just like the previous one. But once again, Dang is going to respect Blackened's reactions. The NG got killed, which means Blackened was probably ready to counter that army. And he's going to retreat. Hey, sexy man, I'll be right back with you eating food. Hey, I appreciated you, other sexy man. Thanks for dropping by, man. I appreciate it. In the meantime, Dang is going to merge armies. There's a small difference in army value, but not that much. Not enough to make a huge difference if these armies fight head on. But the crazy part is Blackened going for tier 3 rush. This is going to be very dangerous for Blackened. He's taking a huge risk. And let's see how Dang is going to react to this, because he's got the light tank. If if Dang sniffs this out, and he actually will, and I am not a fan of Blackened actually moving out here. Like, he invested so much into tier 3. There's a big chance that Dang is going for a flank. Usually when I see Despero do this, like, he stays in his main base for a very long time. One is also because you're moving out with the main MCV. You can't place any static defenses. You have to rely on your army to do the defense work. And yeah, look at this. He's going to lose the tech center probably. Dang sees the tech center is immediately going back for that. Shock troopers are going to try and deal some damage here as well. But Dang does not care. He wants that investment gone. That's the tech center gone straight away. Nothing that Blackened can do about it. Now his armies are going to face head on, but there's just too much. Even with the tech advantage, I don't think it's gonna work out. Nope, it does not. There's just way too much to deal with, and Blackened just didn't have enough army yet to make the difference. Now there's a medium tank flank here on the right side as well, taking out a harvester. Another harvester has been taken out over here. It is over, done for. Blackened lost 2-0 to Dang. And, well, he tried, but it didn't work out. And that was our first match just like that.
Battle control terminated.
It was good seeing you today, bro. Likewise, brother. I agree. It's actually been a really long time, probably since the days of COVID, I think. Alright, now prepare for the longest set of these week highlights. Let me just skip through the other ones. Yeah, most definitely. So this one set almost takes an hour. This is crazy. So let's go. Pretty hyped for Dang. Yeah, like I said, Dang is definitely going to be in the top 3 of this season. And the question is, like, he already beat Cav in the group stages. The question if he's going to be able to do the same thing in the playoffs. We haven't. I don't think there has been Despero versus Dang yet in the group stages. And even then, this is probably the match that I'm looking forward to the most, which is going to be Dang versus Despero. But enough of Dang so far. We saw enough of him today. We're going to see more of him later on in this season. I can assure you that much. But for now, we're going over to Admiral Mo versus Sigil. And we're actually in the Minions division. It's hard to believe because both of these players have actually played in the Masters division. Especially Sigil. Sigil has been in the Master division for quite some time. This is the first season that I've known so far since season 9 that he got demoted. So, and he had... I thought he was going to be demoted from season 11 to season 12. Because he and 5 Aces had the lowest... the worst win rate in group stages. And just like season 9, I assumed that there was going to be a relegation match. That was not the case. This is a very poor decision from Mo. You should know that there's a dog involved, so trying to go back to that oil is not going to work out. So this investment from Sigil going for the dog has worked out perfectly. And I do like these two rifles from Sigil as well. Obviously, he knows that he's up against Mo. Mo is one of those players that do like to go for grins, but in this case, Mo is ally, so he can't really go for grins. Sigil was slightly ahead of 5 Aces because 5 Aces got a strike. Oh yeah, that could be the case. I do remember that they were bottom 2. And I believe 5 Aces got demoted to Minions as well this season, but yeah, we haven't heard from him this season. Triple TP, if you have time, you want to join me, you can we could join voice if you want. I'm always down for that. Well, let's see. In the meantime, Sigil went for a regular War Factory first build or double ref. And it is fake town up in here, boys. It is fake town up in here. That is crazy. Minute 3, this man has 3 War Factories, 2 SDs, and 2 Radar Domes. I mean, but yeah, good luck finding out which one's the real one later on in this game. Hey, Yunano, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. He was Minions last season too. Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh no, this is poor decision making from Mo again. Where are his rockets? He doesn't have any rockets yet. Luckily, his army was able to escape somehow. Yeah, rockets will be able to take out that oil. Army has been found. Sigil sees it. He also realized that there is no rockets to be found either. And this is going to be a crush fest. Oh no, Mo is still making more riflemen. Luckily for him, Sigil is going to retreat. And it seems like Sigil might have missed that oil. Or he lost his engineer. I'm actually not entirely sure what happened to his engineer. But I don't see it anywhere. So I'm assuming he got sniped by Mo. No, Sigil still has his engineer somewhere. Oh, there he is. Okay, so I'm assuming he just he probably missed that oil completely. But Mo has not. I know that Mo has been playing this map quite a bit at the start of the season. And this is so insane. I mean, usually we don't see that many fakes being thrown out. And I'm not sure if they're actually worth the cash. It's hard to say. I actually haven't fully tested that. Ooh, that's gonna be sniped. Yup. Good NG snipe. Wonder how much he invested. Yeah, me too actually. Like this, I'm assuming this stuff isn't. It's cheap, but at the same time, it's I don't know. There's quite a bit of them. In the meantime, both players are taking out oils. And soon there will be no oils left on this map except for one for Mo in his own base. Sigil is gonna let it happen for now. And both players are taking the exact same expansions. I do like the ranger use from Mo so far. He's been scouting a lot with this ranger. Mo is going to immediately move out and take these two patches up here. Sigil is going to do the exact same thing, except on the other side. I feel like Sigil's decision is better. Because I do like this ore patch a little bit more at the start of the game. Mo is massing up a big army here in the middle. He's already dead-balling. Yeah, Sigil is splitting up his army. He wants to escort his MCV, which I understand. I feel like Mo's army positioning is a lot better though. Like, he is taking control of the middle, and because of that, he's defending his entire expansion and main base fairly well. Sigil could go for a flank attack. I'm actually surprised that neither of these two players are taking initiative so far. Very passive playstyle from both players. And Mo is, is just going to keep expanding. He's going to take more refineries. But Sigil has to be careful. Like, Mo is in control of the middle, which is pretty good for Mo. Because, yeah, like, Sigil cannot leave his base with this army pretty much, because he has to consider the fact that Mo could go straight for main base. Mo also built a mine layer. So it would be nice to see what he is planned to use that for. Got an APC drop ready in the bottom left, full of rockets. 4 rockets going to be effective against the harvester. Should be able to 3-shot the harvester. Nice reaction from Mo. Turret's been placed onto the APC. There's the engagement, but Mo's not paying attention, and the armor from Sigil is going to make it so that he lost more than half of his infantry from that army. Very good attack from Sigil. But this is a good attack from Mo as well. This expansion is completely left unguarded. Once again, big engagement on the middle. But the concave from Mo saved him there. Good reaction from Sigil as well. He's going to be able to keep his harvesters alive. But he needs to guard the refinery as well though. Mo is going to push into the main base. But I was about to say, I doubt that is a good idea. Refinery is going to be taken out. That's going to cripple Sigil's eco by quite a bit. But talking about crippling eco, the remainder of the APC dropped has worked out as well. 1 harvester going down. Seems like the APC did die to the turret. Medium tanks running rampant, doing some scouting, doing some damage. Army values are fairly close. Rocket soldiers are being taken out. Good play from Mo so far. He's been doing a pretty good job defending his territory. And yeah, Sigil did suffer a blow there to his eco, so he's going to restore that. Once again, we're getting a big clash of army. But Sigil too afraid to do something about it. Actually, he could take that army, but it has been doing some mental damage. Especially with that extra army he has up top, he can definitely take out that army. But Sigil's just waiting to use Defender's advantage. He wants to take the fight in his main base. He wants to use that vision advantage and the support of static defenses. And then he would take a very, very good attack against Mo's army. Okay, chipping away at a couple of rifles here. Defender's advantage for Sigil here on the right side as well. Mo did not expect that, and that's a very good trade for Sigil, who was probably just setting up that army here to defend the flank. So Sigil now feeling confident to move out. He knows that he forced Mo to retreat, but here comes Blackhawks. But he sees that army, he's like, uh-oh. Oh, that's a very unfortunate RT. That RT could have turned the tide of this battle around, but the heavy tanks are getting destroyed in this engagement. He still has 3 left, but they're in the back. big concave from Sigil. Sigil's gonna push through. He has no other option. The RD is on the bottom left as well. This is crazy. He's gonna be able to deal so much damage if it's being microed, but it's not being microed up until this point. Ooh. Ooh. That was a big hit. But Sigil is still pressing forward. He killed so much army from Mo, who is also invested into Raider Dome. Is it gonna work out though? Medium tanks are going to surround the RT. Oh, why is he not? I feel like he could have gotten some value there. Mine Layer is going to be killed as well. Blackout is coming from behind enemy lines. Sigil, kill it! There we go. Oh my god, it crashed most of his rockets as well. A lot of losses on both sides, and crazily enough, Sigil got the actual SD from the start instead of all the fake ones. Sigil in the meantime on Raider Dome as well. He's got 2 war factories in his main base. And Mo now here with the counter attack. And these medium tanks are going to be a problem. Once again, Mo is in control of the middle. And you can see why having the middle on this map is so good. If you have control over this space, it is so easy to decide to go, for example, to the main base or to one of these expansions, which makes it hard for the other opponent to do something about it. In the meantime, this is a pretty good attack from Sigil. It's a very good flank. It's gonna manually target the Blackhawk as well, which barely survives. But now Sigil being able to cripple the eco from Mo without losing his army. But he's going to press forward here. He's going to push his luck, take out another power plant. And now he is going to retreat. Wise decision. He's going to merge his armies as well. He's going to keep the Yak there in the middle for some scouting. I do like that. But Sigil is looking pretty good so far. So things have cooled down. So let's have a look at the graph so far. So earnings graph has been fairly similar. We got some ups and downs for both players. Currently Sigil is in the lead in terms of earnings. And if we look at the army graph, it has been fairly similar as well. This was that one big engagement that Sigil barely won. Mo was able to bring it back a little bit due to his Raider Dome tech. But now Sigil is skyrocketing. Blackhawk is going to chase the V2. I like that. Got a free V2 kill off of that. And so far, I'm actually surprised we haven't seen any flak trucks from Sigil, which is definitely a mistake, especially if you're seeing so many Blackhawks flying around. Still an army lurking there. And these 3 heavy tanks might be able to do some good damage. There is a turret sitting there. But that turret is not going to be able to withhold against these heavy tanks. One harvester already went down. And that's another harvester going down. Reactions from Mo here are a little bit poor, but Sigil not paying attention either. He's gonna lose another. Oh, it was close. I was about to say he's going to lose another heavy tank, but he's actually going for a base push as well. I really liked. He's gonna claim this position even further. And I hope he's paying attention to the middle as well, because like I said, there is still a good chance that Mo goes straight to the main base of Sigil. And most of Sigil's army is focused on the edge of the map, which makes rotating your armies a lot harder. Ooh, hello. This is cheeky. And we're just in time to watch the show go down. Oh. Oh my god, that was all of that army just gone. Oh shit. All of that to just kill a fake Raider Dome. That is ridiculous. Wait, is it still on Street Fighter 5? Oh shit, it's on Street Fighter 5. Oh my god. Fuck. Yo, thanks for pointing that out. Holy shit. Alright, there we go. Yeah, if this was Street Fighter 5, that'd be looking crazy. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, but what a mine layer. Ridiculous. It's a really back and forth game so far between these two players. Sigil definitely in control of the match so far. He's doing a pretty good. He's doing pretty good on the left side as well, dominating with tier 3 tech as well. And I'm not sure if I like this flank. Imagine having a V2 in this position and just completely shooting at like this small gap, these two cells. Going to completely destroy any flank. Where are the reactions from Sigil so far is gonna let this happen. One harvester going down. Nope, he's going to retreat barely in time. No, it's not. It's not. Oh, these harvesters are still going to go down. That's 2 harvesters going down. But besides that, is that other one going to go down as well? He's gonna lose all of these harvesters. That is crazy. In the meantime, Sigil pushing forward on this expansion. But his tanks are not in the greatest position, so he's going to lose a lot of rifles here just to a small amount of defense from Mo. Egan takes out the Yak. Oh, I really do not like that ref placement. It's not worth at all. Blackhawks coming in for the rescue, but they're not being microed, they're just being A-moved. Damn. Oh my god, Mo just killed all the harvesters and captured both of the refineries with the engineer in the meantime. That is actually crazy. I'm actually surprised that so many stuff is going by unnoticed by Sigil. I remember Sigil telling me that he used to be a StarCraft 2 player. And, you know, if you want to be a good StarCraft 2 player, you have to be on point with your map awareness. But, you know, like, stuff can happen. Things can change. Things can turn around. But Sigil still in full control here. Is tier 3 as well. And he's got a big army sitting in the middle. Oh no. Oh my god. These medium tanks are already vetted. Oh no. Bro, these 2 medium tanks have already taken out at least 5 harvesters. Sigil needs to push. Does he have an Iron Curtain? He does. He has Iron Curtain ready. Very preemptive if you ask me. It's not going to do anything. But he will be able to take out this expansion with the greatest of ease. He didn't even need the Iron Curtain to begin with. Mo is sacrificing all of his assets that he got. But there's just a big purple blob that is literally destroying anything that it sees. And Sigil did face a lot of hiccups. Lots of sneaky flanks from Mo. Could have turned the tides of battle, but Sigil has been had this dead ball of a big army for quite some time. Medium tanks have been dealt with. And that is probably going to be it here after this giant attack. 3 mammoths in this army, lots of heavy tanks. This is a big blob. But look how far the mammoth tanks are having to go around just because they're getting pushed aside by the mammoth tanks. But it does not matter. Mo throws in the towel and Sigil takes the first game. Very fun game so far, I have to say. You can see why it made it in the highlights. Yeah, let's see how Mo is going to do in the second game versus Sigil. So this one took 37 minutes. Oh my
Battle
god.
control initialized.
Well, this is surprising to me. Like, this is the first time, at least from maps that got featured in the highlights reel. This is the first time that Pidgeot made by Widow, if I'm not mistaken, actually made it into the highlights reel. This is the first time I actually see this map. I didn't even know that this map was in here. This is a pretty much a 1v1 variant of the famous 2v2 map Pitiless, I think it was called, or at least that's the vibes that I got from it. And yeah, this is a very interesting map. I feel like going 25 rifles on this map is actually kind of good, because it's very centered in the middle. It's very close to main base as well. Going for a dog is also pretty good, but you can do some serious early game damage on this map. You also start very close to each other as well, so potentially you could just rush main base of each other and deal some damage. Oh, the medic! Sigil in full control, but he could make a mistake here and lose the Anju, and I think that's exactly what's gonna go down. Yep. Poor scouting with the dog. And Mo here is going to manage to take the oil in control, baiting Sigil as well, but force fire here being used. He's gonna get the kill on the Anju as well, so an eye for an eye here. But yeah, it's rough to say. Sigil barely coming out on top in a destroyed lost tab. But he still has the dog, so he's gonna be able... Oh! Barrel shot. That blew up like 5 rifles. That was pretty good. Yeah, no reason to go rocket soldiers right now, I feel. He should have just gone for rifles instead. Yep. Mo is making the correct decision here. Let's see if this double investment is going to pay off for Mo. So far it's going to be. Yep, it's going to get that oil. Yeah, I'm surprised Sigil is being this defensive right now. Like, he should have known that he took a pretty good engagement. He's still trading with the dog fairly nicely here with this small batch of infantry. Ranger's gonna come into play right now, so these rockets have to be present. Otherwise, that army is going to be killed and cleaned up. Okay. So you can see that the dog has a lot of value here. Almost 3 rifles almost were able to kill the ranger just because of the vision of the dog. So please, if you're ever playing Soviets, please do not ignore the value of the dog. It's just a crucial investment. It's so good, it can't be ignored. If I were Sigil, I should probably kill this oil off as well. Just because I don't think Sigil is planning to invest into another engineer. Yep, there we go. So taking that out is the perfect answer. Alright, the start of a glorious battle. We've already seen quite a bit of action here in the first 4 minutes. I'm very curious to see what actually led to the fact that this game took so long. Almost a full 40-minute match between these two players, and that has to be very energy draining, to say the least. Mo, in the meantime, has preserved his engineer. Maybe it will make a comeback just like the first game. He managed to capture a lot of buildings in the first game. Very crucial buildings as well. 2 refineries on ore patch, which is very painful late game. But once again, very good usage of the Ranger from Mo so far. He's going to scout through the base. Is he going to lose it? He takes out a Rocket Soldier even. And no, it's going to get caught by the flank. That was poor actually, because he shift waypointed his way through the main base. And even when he was getting shot at, he didn't change the waypoint around. So Sigil in the lead with army value so far. Pretty decent as well, almost 3k. Sigil also with the faster expansion. So he's a little bit ahead in terms of macro. Yeah, this is an interesting map because this is not an easy map to defend. And potentially, if I were Sigil, you can go for a fast MCV build order and just put pressure on this patch early on. This is a very sneaky patch to defend. But it seems like Sigil's gonna let that slide. I do have to say that I like Mo's placement of his MCV a little bit better because he can get access to both of these patches, whereas Sigil can, but he has to do a lot more work in terms of base crawling. But right now he's actually preventing any flanks from passing by, so he's actually setting up more of a defensive line first, whereas Mo is just going pure for eco. Still, Sigil is 3k ahead in terms of army value. But yeah, we can see like both players are playing very passively this game. So it's gonna be... I can see why this game might have taken very long. It's probably going to be like equally divided between two players. And let's see how this goes. Mo already has got a mine to the gem mine, and I think that Sigil didn't even realize that it's there. So you can tell, I think this was obviously Mo's pick, and we can see why. He felt probably very confident in this map. This map has been in RGL before, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, here we go. This is one of those things that I really don't like about Mo. Like, he decides to use his tanks purely for that. If you're playing against Mo, just put rocket soldiers on all your orb patches and you're good. Like, you can completely ignore any of the eco flanks that are going to happen. And at the same time, I keep saying this, is that this is also a very dangerous play, because if you're gonna send your tanks on a solo mission, there's a big chance you're going to lose engagements head on, just because you don't have, there's a big armor difference between the two players. I used to be a big fan of this. I feel like this is a better strategy mid to late game, but not early on, especially not before the first engagement has taken place. If you do want to go for an eco flank, I would probably use a small army. But hey, who am I? I don't know jack shit about this game. I just talk shit about other players. That's what I can do. That's what I'm trained for. Yes, so this is a good example why it's actually a lot more effective to bring a smaller army instead. So if these were only two heavy tanks, they would have immediately lost against these handful of rockets from Mo that were standing here. But just because he had like a little bit of infantry with him, he managed to take a pretty good engagement there. And even though he wasn't able to take out a harvester, he was able to kill a couple of rockets, which, you know, it's a small victory, but those are the ones that count. Mo feeling confident here, but I'm not sure if that is a good idea. Sigil setting up a concave. Yeah, the army, most focus on the army from Mo is on the left side. Sigil going for Radar Dome straight away. Mo is not on Radar Dome yet, but he's on a lot of static defenses, and that might indicate why Sigil actually has a bigger army. Heavy tanks are such good pillbox killers. And once again, Sigil is going to be the one moving out the MCV a little bit aggressively here. We love to see it. Just take a little bit more ground. In the meantime, you can probably spam a lot of static defenses on the left side. Maybe having an extra 1 or 2 V2s here would be very good to make a really good trade against that army. But I think for the time being, Sigil is just gonna slowly chip away at these static defenses using the V2s. But here comes that big attack from Mo. And this is where you probably would have wanted that V2 on the other side. But this wall of flame towers is going to be strong enough. And once again, these 3 medium tanks could have been... If these 3 medium tanks were here, he would have probably been able to deal with this expansion. Hands down. Because the reason he fled is all of his armor got killed. And he retreated. But those 3 extra medium tanks would have made it so that he probably could have pushed through, deal damage, not only kill the expansion, but most likely kill a couple of harvesters and get to tech as well. Would have been huge. Sigil, on the other hand, is feeling confident. His heavy tanks are going down. Decent V2 shot here, and now he's going to move in with a lot of confidence. Yeah, he's gonna push forward. He only has 1 heavy tank to defend, so these pillboxes are going to be very handy dandy, but it's not going to be enough. Expansion is going to go down. 6 harvesters actually are no longer at work. Oh, but I don't like this from Sigil. For some reason he's pushing back. He should have brought the MCV with him and just claimed that position. But he's gonna let it slide. He's going to make it so that Mo can recuperate. And now should be the time for Sigil to attack on the left side. I would also love to see some more yaks from Sigil. He hasn't built any single yak so far, so he actually has no idea what's going on the battlefield. There's still no gem mine being used from Sigil. I'm pretty sure that Sigil has no idea that that gem mine is there. Oh, the MCV, Sigil, the MCV. Oh my god, that was clutch. He's still going to lose the MCV. Oh no! Why would you do that? Man, he got so lucky that Mo didn't target that tier 3. Uh-oh. 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 Mines once again. Being fairly effective. This kind of matchup would benefit from super weapons. I think any player could take around mid 9 and 10 and be able to guarantee their defense. Yeah, probably. Like this could be a very defensive map for sure. I can see where you're coming from. Oh no, the Texan. Oh my god. Disgusting. Actually disgusting. Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, Mint, for sure. But at the same time, I feel like Sigil could have also prevented that and deal a lot more damage. That's going to be a good V2 shot. Yep, that's a pretty good V2 shot for sure. Sigil is in a very dominant position right now. With the yak support, he's going to be able to take out a lot of static defenses. However, this sneaky flank, though, going through the middle is going to cause a lot of damage for Sigil. He's not going to be able to defend that in time. He could potentially lose his war factory here, but Mo has other matters to attend. But here we go. He reacted in time. Oh my god. Oh, he's got the mechanic. He's got the mechanic. He can actually... No! Take the MCV! Oh my god, he could actually have gotten away with that, and he leaves the war factory up and running as well. Very interesting decision making from Mo here. And by interesting, I just mean plain bad. Yikes. But Mo, for the first time after 40 minutes and a half, he's actually in the lead in terms of army value. Yeah, Sigil has been losing a lot of MCVs this season, that is for sure. But here we go, once again, massive tank flank. 5 medium tanks. And the 3 tanks that have been sitting up there for ages are finally going into the main base. They are already taking out a harvester. They're going to take out a second one because so far Sigil has been very poor keeping his harvesters alive. That's the only thing that I can say about his gameplay so far. Yeah, you can't run from medium tanks. Wow, 4 harvesters being taken out. And the SD as well by the 3 other mate tanks. That is crazy. Very good tank flank here from Mo. Yeah, but this is what I've been talking about. The lack of scouting from Sigil is crazy. Where is Mo's army? Wait, am I blind? It's non-existent. Well, it's mainly Blackhawks and Longbows. But Sigil is definitely in a position to take this expansion. Strax was idle. Yeah, it seems like it. But still, he has 30k, which is kind of crazy.
Initialized.
All right, satellite has been initialized for Mo, so he has an idea now where everything is about. So let's have a look here and see what Mo can see. Why are you moving the longbows over there if you see that there's no harvesters? There's only harvesters working over here currently. And probably over here, yeah. Anyways, the tank flanks have been working out for Mo so far. And that is probably the reason why this game is going to take so long. But I do agree with Mint. Like, so far, Sigil has been in a pretty good position to just make super weapons. Oh no, reactions are once again way too slow. Harvester's gonna be taken out. Oh my god. Sigil still has 7 harvesters, but not great. Yeah, it seems like Sigil is being intimidated by Mo so far. And he's just sitting there and being harassed by Mo, who's also kind of passive, but at the same time, at least he's doing something with longbows, Blackhawks, or the medium tanks. No way. Oh my god. Oh my god, he killed his own service depot. But still, losing 4 Blackhawks, is that worth? I mean, a tech center and an SD, I guess so, but at the same time, not really. But this is a weird game. And yeah, I'm actually not sure why he has made the tech center twice. Because we haven't seen a single tier 3 unit. We haven't seen an Iron Curtain being made. We haven't seen a nuke. It seems like he was building a nuke, apparently. But yeah, looking at the production tab, this is kind of crazy. Idle racks right now for Sigil, or it was. That probably implies that he was building shock troopers at some point, or I don't know. Like, he can't build shock troopers, so I guess his racks was just idle. He also didn't build Meeks. Very crazy. I'm not sure what's going on right now. Tier 3, yeah, tier 3 just for dick measuring. That's what's going on. Oh, we got spies. Where's spies? Spies. Ooh, okay. Mo using all the tools. Mo's been pretty good so far using all the tools that allies have to their disposal. Okay. Tesla coil? Yes, Tesla coil for Sigil. Turret versus Tesla coil. Who wins? This is gonna be a trade. No. Tesla coil wins, but with the RT support, It's gonna be negated. These base pushes are pretty good. 1v2 is still going to go down. Yeah, it's not easy dealing with arties, but taking out this Aegon is gonna be huge. So that means that Sigil can actually send his yaks to deal with the arties. And he's still doing a pretty good job just base crawling. This is gonna work out for Sigil. This is what he should have done at least 10 minutes ago. Parabomb incoming. It's not gonna be the best parabomb. And you know, he took out the Aegon. So why not use a yak first and have a look in the base? Good arty snipe there though. I like that. This tank flank is still gonna work out. There's only one rocket there. Blackhawks are coming in as well to kill potential rifles or rockets that are standing there. Yep. Heavy tanks moving in to try and take out the pillboxes, but it seems like they're gonna be taken out. Well, Sigil's attempt so far is working out. He has to kill these Raxes though. That's mistake number one. You want to kill the Raxes because you want to deny the vision for your opponent. And look at what Mo can see. Like, he just needs one arty to deal damage. There we go. Look at the difference all of a sudden. It's huge. Once again, another Aegon will be taken out. Oh, but Tanya's there. Oh no! Unfortunately, Tanya was not in the back. She had zero protection. She could have dealt so much damage. Sigil needs to press on, but his tanks are in such a poor position right now. Mo is giving up his defender's advantage and goes in. Big V2 shot right there. This is a big attack from Sigil, and finally he's going to be able to remove this expansion from existence and claim it for himself. We got Raider Jammers, Tanya. We've got a lot of action going down here. Can Mo push this back? That is a poor decision in my opinion. Alright, Sigil needs to retreat. He needs to fight in his own base. Tanya is there yet again. This time Tanya could deal a lot of damage. You're talking about damage. Harvesters seems like they're killed here. They have been killed here as well. 2 harvesters once again going down. Both players on 6 harvesters. Spy went into the power plant. Sigil is low power. Tanya's pushing forward. Getting a lot of value here. Oh my god. The entire army just got killed by a woman with 2 revolvers. And Mo is going to retaliate and kill off the what was potentially going to be an expansion for Sigil. Already moving up in an MCV. Crazy fights going down here left and right. Sigil suffered a enormous blow. Oh no, oh no, 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 come on, come on, oh my fucking god. Alright, Mo feeling confident right now. There's a ton of flame towers though. However, he has radar jammers, so he can keep his medium tanks perfectly safe. And wait, why is he retreating? He's got a radar jammer. What? What? Oh, okay. Well, he's gonna give Sigil another chance. Sigil's probably just... yeah, he's stalling. Let's have a look at the graphs in the meantime. Graphs have been very similar, but we can see a lot of downward spikes for Sigil just because of the constant eco-flanking from Mo with tanks, which has been working out fairly well for Mo. Looking at the army graph, yeah, this is the point where Tanya was unleashed into the world. And look at that downward spike. That is ridiculous. from Mo. That was crazy. 36k versus 18k for Sigil. Mo having an incredible minefield in the middle as well. I think Mo got this. He's gonna be able to kill another harvester for Sigil, who's already struggling taking cash. He cannot afford to lose any more harvesters, but he is going to lose another one. Ay, 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 ay. The spy, it seems like the spy managed to get it into the barracks as well, so he's gonna get vetted units. That is gonna be a good parabomb. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. But we see a nuke here all as well, and it is close to being ready. 2 minutes and a half left before it gets launched. And those 3 medium tanks again, look at that. 2 of them are already veterancy 1. Not sure what that was. Probably a power plant or something like that. But Mo has been utilizing his Blackhawks and his tanks fairly well. Here comes Sigil again. Chronosphere has been built as well, so we got both the support powers unlocked, both the super weapons. Here comes Mo once again with his Taya Veterancy 1. No AA gun to protect her from potential Yak suicide. There's the AA gun, perfect for Mo. Really good play. That is going to secure his Taya. Oh my god! The Blackhawk crash was perfectly right onto Taya. That is so unfortunate for Mo. He was able to kill that army. He even had the AA gun set up. The AA gun actually backfired for the wrong reasons. Ridiculous. Hey, what's up, Conan? How you doing, man? Well. Oh, more spies going in. Oh, this is gonna be nasty. This is gonna be nasty. Oh, that is so nasty. And so good as well. This is so bad. Like, now it's all gonna come down to muscle memory. Like, what do you exactly know? Where's the map? Where's everything at? It's gonna be so hard. Low power as well now, which is not only going to, you know, get your static defenses offline or your radar offline, which is what it mostly is being used for, but your production is also slowed down as well. And I think there's still a spy lingering somewhere, or he used it into a refinery, or he used it into the war factory. I am not entirely sure. But slowly but surely, Mo is crippling his opponent, and in the meantime, our nuke is ready to go, along with the Chronosphere as well. So let's see where that nuke is going to go down. Now, actually, I would love for Mo to send his Blackhawks out onto the field before deciding where he wants to blow. Does he wants to cripple this expansion, or does he wants to cripple most of the army from Sigil? If I were Mo, I would probably want to cripple the army. But he also had the satellite up and running, and yeah, he's going to use the nuke. But it seems like Sigil had the perfect read, and he's going to scatter his army. But still, a lot of it goes down, actually. And now it's actually Mo that is being very, very passive. 40k versus 15k. And these mines are actually getting kind of ridiculous. Oh, Chronosphere has been used onto an MCV. Onto the gem mine. That is actually ridiculous. You know, like, actually, this is very good. This is perfect from Mo, because 29 minutes into this game, and Sigil has still not used the gem mine. I mean, this is perfect. The perfect positioning to get an MCV out to get a fortification going, to get an army going as well, and just destroy the main base from behind enemy lines. Ooh, donating a longbow to charity. Yikes. Yikerinos. Yeah, this is sick. This is gonna boost his eco like crazy. I believe Mo is already floating. Now, how is Sigil going to deal with this is the question. Because he definitely does not have the army to deal with that. I mean, he can, but then he's gonna be forced. Oh, wow. Parabombs completely missed. Nice reaction from Mo to move his army away. Wow, even building an SD to repair his medium tanks. And look at the map for Sigil. So bad.
With caution.
So bad.
PogChamp.
Caution is live, PogChamp. Yo, my man, Yadu, how you doing, man? It's been so long. Glad to have you here once again. Thank you for joining, and you know what? Thank you for subbing as well, man. With your Prime 14 months in a row. That is crazy. It's been nice to have you. Bro, it's been like a year and 2 months already. That is crazy, dude. Thank you for the Prime. I appreciate you. And oh, Mo is just getting ready. I mean, it's gonna be like a 40-minute game, but at the same time, I actually do not matter. We have seen so much nice gameplay. Like, we have to say about Mo, like, he's been utilizing allies to the fullest. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, so many, oh my god. Blackhawk donations. Is it multi-prong time? Is he gonna send over the army here to the left as well? He should. This is the perfect timing to send everything over. Harvesters once again being taken out. Yup, the army is moving in. Weird split, but okay. There's the tech center yet again. And look at this army just coming in from behind. Sigil's like, what the fuck? Where is this coming from? 2 harvesters going down on this side. This infantry might be doomed, but it's a big one with a big concave as well. What a backdoor. Longbow here is gonna take out another harvesters. Already 5 harvesters in total have died in a minute probably. Sigil is going to be able to defend that. Keeps 2 harvesters alive. He's gonna be able to take out the longbow as well, I'm assuming. Yes, sir. But the main base has been cleaned up from behind. That is crazy. Sigil is being played. This is ridiculous. This is Admiral Mo, a player that you don't want to keep alive for 40 minutes because he will just utterly destroy you. You have to finish this man quickly or he's going to utilize every single tool he has to completely destroy you.
Satellite initialized.
Juicy longbows going down. Tanya just chilling in the middle there. MCV. Oh, the MC. Oh, what? Oh, put it on the SD. Put it on the SD. Oh no, wait. I was about to say, if he puts it on the SD, he can deploy it. But if he doesn't deploy it, he's gonna keep it alive for now. That was such a good chrono. Wow. So much going on right now. Both players losing a little bit control over the match. Taya moving in as well up top. Sigil's gonna call the GG. And Mo, after 35 minutes of fighting, wins over Sigil. That was crazy. They went 1-1 in the end. Definitely an insane battle to watch. This was very fun to cast. And yeah.
Battle control.
Can definitely see why this one made it into the highlights. You know, even though it was a minions match, you can definitely tell that it doesn't matter. Like, that was really good. Alright, so from here on out, there are only going to be master matches from now. We've got Blackened versus Daughter left, we got Dirty versus Yunano, and we got Anju versus Gaseous. So let's start with Blackened versus Daughter. And once again, we're playing on greener pastures. This one is very popular, this map so far. Why is this map so popular? So I feel like, you know, there isn't anything special about this map, but that doesn't mean it's a bad map. Like, this is just a fairly good, it's just a decent map. There's nothing to say about it, you know? You got decent amount of starting ore, you got some neutral objectives to fight over in the middle, you've got pretty good expansions, and the layout is pretty good. There's options for flanking, there's options for being able to do some nice double ref micro plays in the early game. You know, this map has it all, and at the same time, it's not like this map blows my mind, but you know, this is just a plain good map. There's nothing bad to say about it. So I can see why this is a pretty popular map, and it has been pretty popular not only in minions but also in masters. Because sometimes, especially in season 12, there's a lot of maps that are being played by minions players that are being disliked by master players, but greener pastures is definitely not one of those. So we've got, in the bottom left, we got Mr. Daughter, has been promoted to masters this season, and I am not entirely sure how his win rate is so far, because I already thought at the beginning of the season that he was going to struggle with the master players. Yeah, and we've seen that so far. However, he's not going to be last, because the ones that are going to be last are Bane and Tux. Forfeiting. Oh, okay. NG snipe. Blackened a little bit too hasty trying to kill the NG from Daughter, and that actually backfired. And Daughter keeping that NG alive very sneakily. Tux forfeited? Yes, Tux forfeited. He claims he didn't have enough time. Ooh, okay, we see a ref being sold over here. We're seeing triple light tank being made. I'm not sure if I like that. It means Blackened has to cancel pretty much his second batch of infantry, which is doable. Let's see how this one will turn out. It's going to be effective though. However, he's gonna be behind 2 harvesters because of this. So this light tank rush has to be effective in order for this to work out. But Daughter made the mistake of not building any rockets, and he's already on 4 harvesters, so this is a bad decision. Oh no. Oh no, this is gonna be very effective. The ranger can actually take out the rocket soldiers. Yup. One Rex going down. Power plants are being targeted. The medium tanks is actually gonna do a pretty good job. Turret being made. Okay. He's going to be low power though. But not the worst result, I have to say. Not the worst result. For Daughter, that is. Daughter is a low power, but he's not going to be low power for long. But I mean, Blackened might be able to catch up. He's on he's on five harvesters right now. Excuse me. He's gonna move out the main MCV to make up for the time lost he had with building light tanks. Yeah, Blackened might actually just stay in tier 1. But he did build a SD, so he's gonna convert into medium tanks. He's gonna repair his 5 light tanks. I like that as well. They can be used later on still. And this is also gonna make it hard for Daughter to expand. And he definitely, he had, you know, he has had a lot of damage to eat. He's 6k behind in terms of army value, which is actually a lot considering it's minute 5. However, Blackened also did a big investment in army early on. He's also on 4 Raxes as well. He killed 2 Raxes from Daughter, I think. So yeah, all of that stuff is obviously going to add up later on. But Blackened needs to act now though, like he can't wait long, otherwise if he's going to allow Daughter to recover, then this could still be a rough game for Blackened to win. Daughter being very aggressive with his expansion so far. That's a big army though, this early on. And he sees the army as well with the ranger. He also killed 2 rocket soldiers. But here we go. Can Daughter be in time to save this? He's going to immediately lose a harvester. No, good reactions from Daughter. He has been on point with that. Pillboxes are going to do a good chunk of work here because of the placement. And I believe Daughter will be able to save this. Yes, but once again, the tanks have been separated. Light tanks are once again going in to cause some damage. Once again, the power plants are going to be targeted. Losing a Rax is... it's okay-ish. It's not the worst. It's not the best. The thing is, it's going to slow down his production a little bit. So every little bit helps for Blackened. And now he's going to expand immediately downwards. He's had a lot of eco to go with. He managed to move out with the main MCV over here. He's gonna completely spam that down with static defenses. We need to see an eco slide from him though. Yeah, Daughter is in a lot of trouble. And I'm not entirely sure how Daughter is going to deal with that. At least he knows where Blackened's army is hanging about. Oh, that is so unfortunate. Oh no, and the rocket soldiers are all leading the charge. Oh my god, they're still doing good damage against Blackened's medium tanks. But Blackened could potentially just go in now because he just saw all of the army from Daughter. But instead he's going to merge, he's going to go for a dead ball, and he's going to completely attack from the other side. And that is such a big army. There is literally nothing that Daughter can do about this. He's got a good rocket density here, so he can potentially deal with all the tanks and light tanks. Oh my god, the perfect distraction. The turret is trying to kill the technician. That is so unfortunate. Daughter has to defend, but he can't do anything about it. Look at this giant blob from Blackened. The MCV has been taken out, and yeah, the rockets right now are not helping at all. Daughter is getting slaughtered right now. In the meantime, MCV tried to expand, but it got killed. And Daughter, just like that, calls the GG. Blackened with some nasty plays with the light tank early on. Here's what worked out. Love the random balance complaint 10 minutes after it happened. I didn't even see that, but I mean, oh, there we go. I mean, it's a good call. Like I said, it's risky, but if it doesn't get sniffed out by daughter, it's gonna cause some trouble, and it did. And also, daughter. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Didn't realize that. The amount of micro it takes to kill her far exceeds the micro it takes to use her effectively. I don't know. I feel like the skull icon did a lot. Like, the reason why Sigil was losing so much to Mo is just because he didn't have Yaks present. Like, if you're playing against a Tanya, if you're playing against an ally player that is tier 3, like, I don't see you don't have any excuse if you don't have aircraft. Like, even just going in ham, trading a Yak for Tanya is so worth it. And it is a little bit harder to attack an expansion because Tanya can be reproduced. But like I said, Tanya is more expensive than a Yak. So, you know, Skull Icon's also a buff. I can now find my own Tanya. That makes sense. I feel you there. I can see where you're coming from. I actually disliked the Skull Icon at first because now, like, if you're fighting outside your base, there is nothing that you can do to defend Tanya. Maybe you can get lucky if you have like fucking 10 medics surrounding her. But you know, the fact that allies doesn't have like a mobile anti-air unit like Soviets have flak, it's very hard to keep her safe now with the Skull Icon. And there is not a single player that would not want to trade a Yak or a Blackhawk to kill a Tanya. Like, it is so worth it. So I don't know. I don't feel like she deserves more nerfs. It's just that I don't know. Like, I feel like nerfs also hurt a game. I would rather see more buffs than actual nerfs to a game like this. So yeah, it is what it is. Yo, Aces of Clubs Art, how you doing, man? Yo, thanks again for that TikTok. That was super funny. Alright, we got game number 2 on our hands. We got Blackened on the bottom right playing Russia this time. And we've got Daughter in the top left playing Germany. Don't most RTS games prefer the nerf because of the whole power creep thing? Yeah, it makes sense. That's in a way, but at the same time, like, if you buff other units as well, or like, I don't know, I can see where you're coming from, and it's, you know, balancing is always kind of hard. But I feel like Tanya has got, like, let's talk about Tanya's case, for example. Like, I feel she got enough nerfs. She has got so many nerfs right now, and like, some of them are well deserved, right? Like, even the Skull Icon, I was actually against that because it's like I said, she gets sniped so easily nowadays. It's just like, here's a big giant Skull Icon and she's dead. Bane actually did have a good counter for that. Is that Bane usually places his Tanya in a Ranger, and obviously, like, the Ranger doesn't give away what kind of unit you have in that Ranger, so the Skull Icon is not shown. It's still so easy to get value from her. Yeah, but at the same time, it's also so easy to kill her. Like, I don't understand this entire discussion. Like I said, you just need one Yak to kill her. That's it. It doesn't even matter if it's being guarded by like a bazillion rocket soldiers, because you can still get it. Because you have the vision advantage and you can just snipe it. So I feel like Tanya right now is in a perfect position. In the most perfect position. But hey, that's just me. Like, we can also have this discussion about Iron Curtain. Is Iron Curtain strong? Yes. Is Tanya strong? Yes. Should Tanya be nerfed? No. Should IC be nerfed? No. Is it easy to get value with Iron Curtain? Hell yeah. Is it easy to get value with Tanya? Hell yeah. Like, both are options or units for each faction that are strong. But I also feel like they don't need a nerf. Like, the best counter to Tanya is actually kind of similar to Iron Curtain. And the counter to Tanya is even easier. Like, you should, the moment you hear Tanya shooting your ass, you have to retreat straight away and get it. You have to have a yak present or a black eye. The moment you actually hear the laugh from Tanya when she's produced, that should be the a trigger for you to be like, okay, I have to make yaks. I have to get Raider Dome at least. Or like, normally if your opponent is tier 3, you're probably tier 2 at a minimum, you know? And Iron Curtain is even harder to deal with, in my opinion, because unlike Riddler 2, for example, Iron Curtain doesn't show on the map in terms of a timer. You have no idea that it's there. You need to scout it out. And 2, it can be used at, the most annoying moment for you. Like, imagine if you're taking a big engagement head on and you're just moving in, and all of a sudden IC gets triggered. You're gonna have a rough time. A very rough time. Whereas I feel like against Tanya you can pretty much prepare a little bit. Anyways, we're seeing a very similar build here from Blackened. Blackened is doing this a lot. He's already on 6 Raxus versus 3 from Daughter. And his eco, it seems like his eco is able to afford that as well. So that is slowly but surely going to make it so that he can creep pretty fast in terms of unit production. He's going to be really fast at producing infantry compared to Daughter. And so far it's not really showing, but it will sooner or later. We don't always protect her well. I feel like it is very crucial right now to have a Tanya, to have medics present with Tanya. That's for sure. And it also comes down to how the allies player plays. Like, you can be very offensive with an MCV next to you and have an AA gun prepared. That's probably the best thing you can do, because like I said, allies don't really have a good option. Oh my god, allies don't really have a good option to mobile AA. That's because their AA gun is so strong. That's the counterpart. But imagine having double tick, just having an army with flak trucks, medics, shock troopers, and a Tanya. Oh, that MCV is gonna be fucked. Blackened can actually block that one, but he's gonna let it go. Dan kept sniping Tanya, and Cav just seemed to stop producing her. Yeah. I remember that as well. There was nothing that Cav could do with Tanya back then, so it all depends. Use map pack or otherwise spot an infantry blob. 2, just move her that way and use APM elsewhere. 3, make new Tanya, rinse and repeat. Yeah, I know what you mean with the map hack. I mean, it depends, right? Like, even if you have map hack, the chances of you being able to sneak your blob with Tanya in there without it being spotted is gonna be rough. I mean, it probably is easier to do in team games, but I doubt it's easy to do in 1v1s. It's also depending on the player. Just send Tanya alone. I don't know about that. I think she's way too expensive to do that. I mean, if she can get value, sure. But if she doesn't get value, then it's hard to say. Like, Tanya is still very expensive. That's a big army block from Daughter. Oh my god. With pillbox support? Yeah, Blackened is fucked. Very nice defense here from Daughter. But he's falling behind in terms of macro, it seems. Blackened's also on tier 2. Oh no. The elements of nature are screwing him up a little bit. His army got split off. Blackened with division advantage. You can't really retreat from Tanya, can you? No. Not really. Tanya has way faster walk speed. But you know, nerfing her walk speed would also hurt her way too much. Because then I feel like she's not pretty much a threat anymore. Oh, big clash here. Big engagement. Seems like Blackened does have the better concave, but Daughter had the armor advantage for quite some time. But the bigger concave is gonna work out for Blackened here. That was an insane engagement. Oh, Blackened coming out on top, and this game is pretty much done right now. 17k versus 2k. Not much you can do about it. Could be an issue that Soviets become over-reliant on Yaks against Tanya, as in Yak can really be allowed to do something else. Yeah, you are going to, if you're playing against tier 3 Tanya, you are going to need Yaks. But let's also not forget is shock troopers work perfect versus Tanya as well. Blackened takes it over Daughter 2-0. Well played. Daughter, I have to say, Daughter did pretty well versus Blackened, not gonna lie. Kept sniping Tanya until Margot built longbows. Yeah, mammoths are pretty good as well. Flax can be pretty good. Russia's actually, Soviets do have a lot of things to deal with Tanya. I would probably say allies are probably having a harder time dealing with Tanya. Then again, I feel like Blackhawks do a better job at sniping specific units than Yaks, just because they're standing still. You know, they're easier to control. I guess a ranger could do that, but it's a ranger killing Tanya is a lot harder if Tanya is standing still inside that blob. Maybe chrono tanks could be used to do that as well, but you know, it's a guess if you'll be able to crush or not. But regardless, I feel like Tanya is in a good spot. And if Tanya indeed was too strong, then we probably would have seen a lot more tech rushes into Tanya and just obliterate from here. But, you know, that's not the case. Luckily, that doesn't happen. So I feel like the entirety of the game so far has been balanced pretty well in order to not let that happen. And it also comes down to the player's skill. It's going to come down to the allies player being able to preserve his Tanya really well and being able to defend her pretty well. And it's also going to come down to the other player being able to snipe Tanya efficiently and making sure he preserves his army, not running straight into a Tanya blob like Sigil did against Mo. Alright, we're gonna see Dirty versus Yunano next, but first I need to take a piss, so I'll be right back. Alright, anyways, I just got informed that Sigil is still an active player in StarCraft. He's a high-level master player. So the fact he actually fucked up this much versus Mo being flanked so much, etc., is disgusting. Oh shit, that looks actually really good. Okay, let's see. What did I miss? What kind of the most OP thing about her is the fact that she filters her targets to the one she's strongest against. Yes and no. Imagine Tanya targeting tanks with a move. She would be complete garbage. She would actually be complete garbage. Like, actually, Combined Arms did this. I think it was with Boris, which is the heroic unit for Soviets, because I think Boris in that game is able to deal damage to tanks. That's why he's programmed to also target those. But he's just utter garbage. Like especially in big blobs, he's just completely useless. Like, why would you even build that if he's just going to target tanks? Like, you could say, yeah, you can micro, but bro, you have to micro so much other stuff like RTs, Blackhawks, your tanks. Like, you don't have time to babysit Boris or Tanya. I mean, that's at least my opinion. The upper bound of her potential value, I think, exceeds every other unit. But she gets value fast. Possibly by not either make her reload shots. Could also work. It depends. Like, I can see where Mint is coming from, but it depends. Like, imagine you build her. Imagine your blob is getting scouted by the Soviet player, or even an Allies player. He sends over one aircraft unit and your Tanya's dead. Like, good luck. Good luck getting value out of that. You know? It's all very situational, but I do agree, like, you know, Tanya is a unit that can get value very fast. But like I said, so can Iron Curtain for Soviets. Wow.
Battle control initialized.
Okay, we are here. Once again, we're on the lands of greener pastures. We're here with Der-E versus Yunano. We haven't seen that much Der-E being highlighted. I think he got highlighted once in week 1 versus Gaseous. I could be wrong. But a very strong player. I don't know if he was around for season 12. I'm not entirely sure. But he was around in season 11, and he was 3rd place, I believe, or 2nd. No, he was 2nd place in my group. And I barely won against him to secure myself a spot in the finals. But that is most likely the reason that Der-E was able to be promoted in Masters. And here he is. And here he is playing against Yunano, aka Maceman. Yunano has been around for quite some time. He's been playing very consistently. And that's why he's here yet again in Masters League. I think he was Master in Season 12 as well, if my mind is not fooling me. But I feel like this actually could be a very interesting match. Der-E is also one of those players I feel like he's not playing a very meta-based style most of the time. He can be very aggressive. So, Season 12, 5th or 6th in Masters, right? Or 7th? I'm not sure, he could have been. I actually can't remember much of Season 12. The only thing that I do remember is the finals, Blackened versus Dispro. Well, it was more like Dispro playing single player. No, no offense to Blackened. But that man took RGL by storm that season. Just checked 7th place. Okay, so there he was in Masters that season. Anyway, once again, we're playing on greener pastures. We got Blackened, or Yunano exactly, going for War Factory first. He didn't manage to get that oil, so nice aggression from Der-E to deny that. And he's also got 2 rifles present on the top left. So yeah. I feel like this is one of those games that can be very explosive. I think it's going to be a lot of calm before the storm situations. And then all of a sudden, bam, there's going to be like a big engagement that is going to be the decider. But we got some interesting things going on here. Yunano is actually going to go for Raider Dome straight away after placing down his 2nd ref. Let's see, he's probably going to go for a 3rd harvester from the War Factory. Yep. Into Ranger. Oh no, he actually cancelled the harvester. Interesting. Not sure if I like that, but maybe he wanted to have the Ranger first before a harvester. That could make sense. Yeah. That makes sense. But definitely he needs 5 harvester for sure. For sure. Damn. Look at that waypointing zigzag. Some sick drive-bys going on here. GTA. Oh. Their E was a little bit indecisive. Their E should definitely not be afraid. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, did he not see it? Oh, he did see back and forth here. But their E caught it in time. And he can still win the trade against the Ranger, actually. But he's inclined not to. In the meantime, Yunano already going for Blackhawks. And he's going to move out the main MCV. Like, this is one of those maps where you can definitely do that. Not only is your expansion fairly close to your main base, also the roads work in your favor as well. So moving out the main MCV is definitely a good strategy on this map. Derry, on the other hand, is more taking a classical approach here. Just a plain and simple double ref build with a good MCV timing, I have to say. Oh no! That's unfortunate. That was definitely not worth. If you are not, I think you with this build you can get 2 Blackhawks out around the same time, and you should be able to kill the MCV. But their E managed to get the expansion. And this is where their E is going to be able to catch up in terms of army value. It's going to come down to how well the RTs are going to do a good job killing the infantry. And at the same time, it's going to come down to Yunano being able to defend himself against the medium tanks. Because he only has light tanks as armor. Because of going for Raider Dome over SD. And that is going to stay like this for now. It's going to go straight into tier 3. So yeah, it's gonna come down to, like I said, how he can use his RTs efficiently and how well he can protect those RTs as well. And this is what I said, the Blackhawk can be pretty good catching them off guard. Ooh! Very good RT shot. And that's immediately going to scare off their E. And this is good for Yunano, because now he can actually set up... Yeah, this is what I mean. Now he can actually use the Blackhawk to do some scouting. And he can get some really good value with the RT. Oh, that's gonna be a good shot! Oh, dude. That's unfortunate. Yeah, the RTs are pretty good here. Dirty probably needs to take up as soon as he can to be able to kill those off using RTs, or, you know, using Rangers to do so. Mobile gap generator. That is kind of crazy. Got some flanks going on here. And so far we haven't seen that much tier 3. We see Tanya from Yunano. And this is where Tanya could actually be really good. Because their E just got to tier 2, but he doesn't have aircraft yet. Holy shit. Alright, good flank here. But unfortunately, his last rocket soldier got killed with pillboxes. Good flank here as well. Needs to cripple Yunano's eco if he wants to win. But here comes Tanya. She's catching up. Couple of arties in the meantime, bombarding this expansion. It seems like Tanya got dealt with by the medium tanks. So see, even without aircraft, like I said, it's gonna come down to the player preserving Tanya and the other player being able to preserve his army while killing Tanya. Is this gonna backfire? There's just way too many Blackhawks though. They can just shred this army, but Radar Dome is gonna go down. Harassment is pretty good, but you know, Dirty lost way too much. He lost eco, and he lost so much army because of those arties. Yeah, very fun build to see in action from Yunano. I don't think he even needed to go tier 3 because his Tanya or his mobile gap generators didn't do that much. Oh, medium tank is getting a lot of value here. Arties are going to be taken out. In the meantime, pressure has been put on Yunano on the right side. Let's have a look at the eco in the meantime, because their E is floating like crazy. Yunano is not so much, close to being stalled, so he definitely needs to win this engagement with that army. But if their E can turn this around, keep expanding, and you know, preserving his eco, because that's going to be the thing. Because Yunano is doing the same amount of damage on the left side of the map, taking out harvesters, taking out refineries. But there's just way too many pillboxes to deal with this. I think Yunano should have this, but he's just struggling right now with eco. That's the thing. That's the only thing that is keeping their E alive right now. Oh, you wanted radar jammers, not mobile gaps? That would have made a lot more sense. Although mobile gap generators can be big brain, because a lot of people imply that you're mobile gapping your army, which is, you know, makes sense. It can be really good. Mobile gap generator is probably also a very good support unit to keep your Tanya alive, especially now with the skull icon. But what I've seen, I don't know which player that was, but there was a guy who sent a mobile gap generator on its own as a flank, and the other opponents obviously saw the shroud that was created, so he sent over his entire army thinking that there was an army accompanying that mobile gap generator, and it was not. The army was completely on the other side, which was actually kind of crazy. Big brain plays. Was that Despro? Yeah, I think it might have been. Oh no, the Blackhawks! Anyways, Yunano should have this. There's not enough infantry support for their E, and their E is going to call it GG, but it was actually still fairly close. It was fairly close. First game going to Yunano, and you know, it's always fun to see a game that is not just the meta, you know, not Double Rift, not War Factory first into MTV. Just straight up some good old fun.
Battle control initialized.
Alright. So again, this is probably one of the most popular maps so far. I have seen this map a little bit more in Minions than Masters, but overall, it's a well-played map. I think Abendland is probably, if I have to see the top 3, it's probably going to be Einar, Abendland, and Greener Pastures. I believe Elevation from I Like Men is also being seen a lot of play. And if I have to make a top 5, it's probably going to be Assault. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably the top 5 of most seen maps. And I guess a close second, you know, or also maybe a challenger for being top 5 is Overkill from Megatank. Though I believe that's one of the maps where I have seen more plays on minions than Masters. Overkill. But yeah, we got game number 2. Let's see what Yunano is going to be coming up with next. It seems like he's going to go for regular double ref this time around. There he's going to do the exact same thing. But I don't think he has an NG yet. No. 16 rifles and a dog. Where is the dog? Oh, I think he actually had an NG, but it got shot. Oof. Well, I think the dog might have killed the NG as well, hence the rank. Oh, that's painful. Yep, that's gonna be very painful. That is definitely early game in the bank for Dirty. Because of that dog value, doggy value. Surprised Yunano didn't go for the dog. But he did get a really nice snipe with the rifle. Okay, nice. Yep, he's gonna preserve the dog. Real nice. Good micro. This is also smart that he didn't went straight in with the dog. Like, he was going around a little bit, trying to see the army, and now he's gonna get himself a 3rd oil. And yeah, Yunano already looking in a rough position. I think Yunano got an extra rocket soldier snipe off of that. Oh, you don't want to go in there with the dog. Should be able to kill. Yeah, just because of the. Yeah. I think, I'm not entirely sure. I think the flak only has 1 extra cell of vision in comparison to the dog. But that makes it a lot harder to be able to just snipe rifles for free. And now the APC support is going to make sure that Yunano can no longer do some harassment with the flak truck. Both players on 4 harvesters right now. But yeah, Dirty is definitely in a good spot of spamming more infantry for sure off the bat because of those 3 extra oils. It's already setting up scouts. It's gonna send over the engineer, it seems, to grab that oil, which is being guarded though, so I would love to see Dirty actually sending over the APC first to check if the area is safe. And I like his scouts as well. This is something that we saw Cav do a lot with scouts, setting them on ore patches to give you the intel of where the opponent is going to expand towards. But it seems like the engineer is gonna have a bad time. Once again, very standard stuff from Dirty. Nothing out of the ordinary, just a plain and simple double ref build. And it seems like Yunano is kind of doing the same thing, but he went for heavy tank first. He's going for extra Raxes as well. He's going for 5 Raxes in total. So 2 extra Raxes before MCV. And, you know, making sure that his war factory stays in production as well with 2 extra heavy tanks. So if these armies actually face head on right now, Dirty is gonna have a really rough time. But Dirty so far actually doing a pretty good job preserving the dog. APC being taken out. Yunano doing some scouting with the flak truck. Actually getting good value because he's getting rocket soldiers out of this. Oh, and there goes the flag truck. Oh, but there is gonna take that engagement, but there's 2 heavy tanks leading the charge. He immediately realizes that that is an engagement he does not want to take head on, and he retreats safely. This is good. Yunano, in the meantime, still was able to preserve his engineers, so he's going to be able to capture that oil back, tying it up 2-2. Seems like the engineer has died, which was, you know, bound to happen. Yunano's gonna try and risk it, taking that oil for himself. He's just trying to scare off their E so he can secure the oil. That's all he wants to do. And it seems like he's going to sacrifice his army to do so as well. He got a decent trade, but it's not going to be enough. But he did manage to get the oil, so he's probably going to force their E to having to destroy the oil. There is now the first one going to Radar Dome. But we haven't... Ooh, no eco slide from Der E. That is going to mess up his eco later on in the mid to late game. Especially being on 1 expansion, and also especially going for Radar Dome. So potentially he's going for helipad soon. He's making a 2nd refinery, so... Oh yeah, that's a good bait. That's a good bait. There is just moving everything over. And at that similar timing, the flank arrived, already taking out a harvester. There he hasn't even noticed yet. There we go. He has right now. Alright. Yunano's doing a good job attacking left and right. Their E's army is completely out of position. And this is not good for their E. Not only is his tick there, this is his only expansion where he just eco slid towards as well. He lost 3 harvesters. He's gonna lose a refinery. He's probably going to lose a radar dome as well. Yup, and Yunano should be able to get out safely if he wants to. But he's still, with defender's advantage, might do a good job holding, but unfortunately his tanks were in a poor position. But he still got a lot of value out of that attack, 100%. Yeah, this might have been, this is probably over. There is gonna try and go for a counter attack, but Yunano should be able to keep that safe with flame towers. Oh, that's such a good flame tower. That was so clutch. I like that. I like that. Not only it was blocking the pad of the MCV, it was close enough to do the killing. Now he's gonna destroy the husk as well, just to be sure. Even though it's Soviet, it doesn't matter. But you know, it's like an instinctive response. But Yunano's army is out of position though, so he's actually in danger of facing some damage as well. And Der E should actually be able to keep his main base safe, I believe. But Yunano's doing a pretty good job chipping away at the heavy tanks slowly but surely. He took out 3 heavy tanks without facing that much damage himself. But in the meantime, damage is being done. 2 harvesters already down. Yunano did respond afterwards. Good attack from behind. Yeah. This is really good. Oh, that's a lot of rockets. 2-shotting that heavy tank. Big overkill. Der E going for a counter attack, but the vision advantage is in Der E's Yunano's favor, along with defender's advantage as well. Yep. Der E calls the GG. Lost all of his army, and that is 2-0 for Yunano. Pretty good set, to be honest. I really like that set. And even though it was 2-0, it was not a very clean 2-0. But at least the first match was very entertaining with the tier 3 rush. And even though it was a little bit sloppy, but it still worked out pretty well. I was about to say, where's my music? All right. So already we are down to our last set, and I'm gonna do a small spoiler alert. We're going to have an extra stream this week, probably somewhere in the weekend. I'm not entirely sure, but I have received a couple of juicy matches. So someone from the community sent me a best of 7 between Widow and Yunano on a new map Yunano made. So yeah, we're gonna review that. We're gonna cast those. And I also received a best of 5 from Hans Nihal, which is the guy that usually makes it into every single highlight reel except for this week, which is our translator for OpenRA, who translated OpenRA to Chinese for the Chinese community to enjoy. And he played against a guy called Stromberg. And apparently Stromberg is a highly skilled CNC player in China. He has played lots of PvP games in CNC3, RA3, 0 Hour, and of course RA2 before playing OpenRA. Stromberg is a big fan of the third-party OpenRA mods like Romanov's Vengeance and Shattered Paradise mainly. And yeah, he played a best of 5 against Hans Nihal, so we're going to review that one as well. Yeah, it's just like an extra stream, extra casting games. It's gonna be interesting. And yeah, last but not least is Anju versus Gaseous. Let's get straight into it. Now, this is kind of interesting because I feel like Gaseous is becoming the next young Anju. Anju has been a part of this community for God knows how long, and he's always been participating in RNGL. At the same time, Anju, besides that, doesn't play that much OpenRA. But it's always nice to see him return in RGL just for old sake, you know, for good. It's just what he does. I think there's probably some attachments, a bond going on between Anju and RGL. And here he is yet again defending Masters League. And Gaseous is probably going to be a similar person in my opinion. Like, he doesn't really feel obligated, but like he's playing CNC3 again, so he's not playing OpenRA at all. But here he is once again for the 3rd time in a row, making himself present in RGL. Anju is the longest standing master. Yeah, absolutely. And he does well. Like I remember him, I think he caused an upset in season 12 playing against Cav, and where he actually won a game doing a light tank rush. And I remember Cav actually being kind of salty about it. It's quite funny. But you know, Gaseous on the other hand, he's doing pretty well as well. The first time he participated in RGL was in season 11, where he made it straight into Minions Finals. And then he got utterly destroyed by the man himself, your boy, Caution Me. Which to this day felt pretty good. Gaseous, if you're watching, man, if you are watching, let me just remind you what happens, you know, if I compete in oh fuck. Well, you know, let me just remind you what happens if I compete as well. You know, it's that's what happens, bro. I think I broke it. No, it's fine. Okay, it still works. It still works. There we go. Probably my most proudest moment. Super fun. Anyways, this is a map. Yeah, this is Albanland. This is one I was about to say that is pretty popular as well. And I assume this is Anju's pick. I'm not entirely sure. But you know, besides that, Gaseous has been pretty solid in OpenRA in general. You know, especially for a newcomer, he's doing pretty well. And Gaseous is one of those players that really likes just the meta builds. Like, he wouldn't do anything out of the ordinary. But I feel like the strength of Gaseous is more where he's pretty solid with micro. And like his macro is also really good. Like he's a pretty all around player, whereas he succeeds or excels in army positioning. Like I feel like he does a pretty good job with that. The only thing that I've realized with Gaseous so far, his biggest weakness is his biggest enemy is himself. He sometimes cannot handle stress, or you know, like I said, because of the stress most of the times, or like sometimes he faces like a very strong player and then he can get intimidated by that preemptively, and that can mess up some of his execution. But that's also a double-edged sword, because if Gaseous has the confidence to play against someone that he's like very confident to beat, for example, then obviously he gains a lot of strength from that as well. He's if he boosts his confidence, then he's a pretty insane player. Oh man, look how much your harvesters are being slowed, but I guess it's still worth. But Gaseous is not going to go for that. Oh, because of the road, it was dodging so many rockets. Yeah, it seems like Gaseous wants the expansion to be more effective. He wants to place the refinery fairly close. And Anju is so far being very aggressive. Let's have a look at the eco so far, because it seems like, yeah, like actually taking that refinery close to the rubble. Oh, what? Okay, that's bad. That's actually really bad. And I like this from Anju as well. He's gonna set up the MCV on the other side of the ore patch so he can keep that ore patch a lot more safe. And the small split from Gaseous, his army being split apart, did not work out. Base push with the Tesla coil worked in his favor. Anju is gonna press on. So even the fact that Anju is, I wouldn't say like quote-unquote rusty, like I said, he doesn't play at all except for RGL, but so far he's having a very dominant position. And I like this little Rax with the flame tower. Once again, he's shutting down a flank for Gaseous as well. Gaseous is rotating around and he's going to attack from a different angle. This is definitely working out in his favor, and at the same time he's chipping away at the infantry with flame towers. So both players are doing a very good job here in micro. Like I said, this is going to be a very micro heavy game. But Anju is definitely putting up the pressure onto Gaseous' expansion, and he's in a good position to get a Tesla coil down here and force Gaseous to come out and fight. And that's exactly what Anju is going to do. But I do like this option from Gaseous as well. He just knows that he didn't really lose the fight, but the pressure is coming to Gaseous. Yeah, so that's why he's gonna put the pressure on another place on the map, and it's gonna be effective. Like, he's not going to get the harvester most likely, but he is going to get the refinery and deny eco. In the meantime, oh nice, Gaseous was able to take out the Tesla coil, but he did lose a harvester to the flank. Meantime, fights going down everywhere. Tanks are not in a good position for Gaseous, but once they're going to get into the good position, he might be able to turn this fight around. And that's exactly what is happening. Gaseous so far with a clutch defense might turn it around, and his flame towers have done a good job as well. So this is where it could turn around. Gaseous now feeling very confident. And he's gonna repay an eye for an eye here. 2 Harvesters might go down. Yeah, Harvester's stuck behind the heavy tank. Still gets away. No, it's just a... barely was a kill right there. But Gaseous' army is completely surrounded right now. And he is going to be taken out. In the meantime, both players are expanding up north. So we're gonna see another expansion war coming down here. Actually, Anju did a very good job trying to deny this eco, but unfortunately he had to give up. And I really do like this offensive war factory from Gaseous. This is gonna make it so that he can reinforce his heavy tanks really fast. And yeah, this is gonna be a rough match, but Anju is gonna repay the favor and he's gonna deny that eco as well. And there's not much that Gaseous can do about it because he already moved out his MCV. Good reaction from Gaseous. Unfortunately, that Harvester did not get microed home. Flame Tower did get some decent value. Interesting, like, targeting priority that the Flame Tower did there at the end. But yeah, this is a good flank from Gaseous, but from Anju. But once again, Gaseous is going to retaliate. Obviously, he is aware that if there's a big army on the right side, that means there's not that much army on the left side, which means that Gaseous can go for a counter attack. Question is, where is he going to go? Seems like he's going to move away from the main base. And Anju still has a sneaky expansion here on the left side, and I think Gaseous is almost 100% sure that that expansion is non-existent. But Gaseous is going to repay the favor. He's going to take out this expansion as well. Nice reaction from Anju to remove the Harvesters back. He saves 3 Harvesters because of that. And, well, this might be the turning point. Gaseous should be aware that that army is still lurking around there somewhere. But the main base is completely unguarded. And this is a decent enough army to completely wipe the floor with this entire main base. First Harvester going down straight away. Gaseous still not paying attention. Second Harvester is going down. Yup. This is not good. Gaseous can't do anything about this. He needs to act quickly, but there's a decent army already in Anju's main base. And all of Gaseous' army is up north. So this is a very good split from Anju. Seems like he is going to lose his MCV. Yeah, that MCV is going to go down. That is a little bit unfortunate. So we are going to see a base trade here. Gaseous going back to producing APCs. And he has to make a choice here. He's going for a small split. I like this split. He has to make sure that he can still defend his expansion. But now his other expansion in the bottom left is getting attacked. 3 Harvesters going down just like that. There's a ton of static defenses though. So they might be able to chip away at the infantry efficiently. In the meantime, there's not that much resistance in Anju's main base. So this means we could see a potential base trade, which is still going to be in Gaseous' favor. Because I feel like Gaseous still has a lot more map presence lying around right now in comparison to Anju. Also, Anju losing that MCV on the right side makes it a lot harder for Anju to keep staying alive. Gaseous is going to kill this entire main base. In the meantime, he is going to be able to defend his base on the right side. It seems like the Flame Towers did do a pretty good job holding back the army from Anju until reinforcements arrived. And in the meantime, Anju is relocating his army that killed the main base of Gaseous to the expansion up north. Yeah, this sneaky expansion is keeping Anju alive as well in terms of eco. Here's the attack once again. Another Harvester going down. Let's have a look at the Harvesters. We got 3 Harvesters for Gaseous and 6 for Anju. So Gaseous definitely in the lead in terms of army value, but Anju is in the lead in terms of eco. However, that is going to turn around fairly quickly here as the expansion has been sniffed out. Once again, Anju is on the move with the MCV. Good flame tower placement there, I like it. And there's a defensive force, the one that was taken out the main base. Should be able to preserve that. Anju calls the GG, he knows what time it is. And Gaseous takes the first game. Very good play, really messy gameplay so far. It was just like base trades, you know, they were trading blows left and right. It was like a boxing match where they're just standing still and they're switching, taking hits, you know, just straight to the face. See who can keep standing the longest. But here we go, game number 2, the last one of tonight.
Battle control initialized.
Yeah, it did seem like Anju was actually in control for most of the game. Unfortunately, his base pushing attack did not work out. By it was a very smart counterplay from Gaseous to attack elsewhere, and still was able to defend his expansion with his eco. I think that was the turning point. But here we are playing on Sompio. Like, this is one of those maps we haven't seen that much. I think he got played twice in Masters so far, at least from the games that I saw from the highlight. And I think it was played once in Minions or twice. I think Milkman played on this map once, and I think Admiral Mo played on this map once as well. I think this was Milkman versus Hulk on this map. Or it was Triple TP versus Hulk, but I think it was Milkman versus Hulk. It doesn't matter. Once again, Sompio is one of those maps made by Pinkton. Due to the beautiful aesthetics, he used this map palette quite a bit now. I think he used it for Einar and he used it for Jungle Boogie. And Sompio is also one of those maps. Very interesting map. The middle is also very interesting, and I think the middle in this map is very creative, how it's actually being blocked off. There's a lot of maps like, for example, Overkill is a good example where having the middle is very crucial, and it's very it's a win condition, or it makes it a lot easier getting the victory. And a lot of maps have that issue. It's not always easy to make it so that the middle is not a dominant position to have or to gain control over the match. And I feel like this map has done a pretty good job. So just because the elements of nature with the river and the rubble and the cliffs, like you can have an expansion here, maybe with a couple of Raxes, but it's not going to serve you that greatly in my opinion. It's also not, because of how the river is positioned with the cliffs here as well, it's not also the most ideal position to flank from or to attack from the main base. So yeah, I believe Pinkton did a pretty good job creating the middle for this map. This map is probably one of my favorites in terms of quote-unquote the middle. But yeah, once again, we got Gaseous on the right side going for double Earth, it seems. He made the Ranger as his first pick. And we've got Anju in the bottom left, once again playing Russia. And we're already seeing a Flamer drop in action here. 5 Flamers. This could be huge. And oh, this actually could be very huge, because I was about to say, Gaseous was about to move out with his army, but he had second thoughts. Still having second thoughts. 4 harvesters for both players. And a very quiet game so far. Not a single... It seems like Anju managed to kill 1 rifle, which probably is potentially a scout. But this Flamer drop could be very huge. In the meantime, the NG, sneaky NG already in the back of the enemy lines, is going to take that oil. Might actually get away with it as well. We'll have to find out and see. Nope. It's gonna be fairly close, but I think the rifle should be able to kill it in time. Ooh! Oh, is he? Oh, that was a pixel left. If he was a microsecond slower, I think the oil would have been turned around into Anju's column. Ranger here. I'm not sure why the Ranger is sitting over there. Good timing from Anju's MCV. 4 minutes and 30, I think it was. Pretty good. Gash is a little bit slower this time. Here comes the APC. Straight onto the SD. Yup, been taken out. Going for a power plant here. Going for another power plant. This is a pretty good flame drop so far. And it stays completely alive. He's gonna do it again, yep. This might have been a mistake though. No, actually, he gets the racks as well. Okay. A little bit of an extra W here. Very good flamer drop. Took out an SD, 2 power plants, and a barracks. Gaseous is not low power. But yeah, losing the SD is very crucial at this point. This is the moment where you normally want to start tank production. Luckily for Gaseous, he managed to get out the MCV as well. But now Gaseous is taking a fairly good engagement here with the light tank ranger combo. But this is pretty good from Anju as well. He's gonna set up the MCV. Flame tower has been placed. And now Gaseous on the run because he did lose his light tank. So this army is now very vulnerable. Yeah, now Gash is forced to make light tanks, and that flame drop is still lurking about. And this is still a very dangerous drop. Really like this map, but sometimes for a Ragoyam I feel like it's too much of an epic to pick it. I can see that. I can also feel like this is also probably one of those maps where I would not feel very confident into play against. Oh, this is... Oh, no. The positioning for Gaseous is fairly poor here. Yup. Very fast reactions here from Anju. Realizing that army was in the back. Yup. Perfect bait. This is good play from Anju so far. And that flame drop has accomplished a lot. And now here it is again. And it's gonna take out the refinery. And he preserves 3 flamethrowers again. But he has to move away the APC. No, that's going to be the end of our flame drop. But what an incredible flame drop that has become. In the meantime, Anju not making a good decision here is going straight into a couple of pillboxes. Yeah, wow, what a flame drop. Denying the first expansion refinery. Denying the SD and lots of power plants. Anju looking great so far. But even then, Gaseous is still pretty confident. Let's have a look at the graph so far, what this has established. So you can see this big spike downwards in terms of eco just by losing that refinery. That has hurt Gaseous income quite a bit here. In the meantime, ooh, this is where light tanks can shine. Wood armor and light tanks are super fast. So yeah, MCV gets taken out. No expansion on the left side possible. But Anju here, looking at the army graph, a big spike upwards in difference with army graph. Those heavy tanks in comparison to the light tanks are making a big difference. And there's a huge flank that is going to be unseen going straight towards Gaseous' main army, or main base rather. And a very good strong flank on the right side as well, where Gaseous is still struggling to get a new refinery going. His harvesters are going to be annihilated here. Oh, that's 2 harvesters going down for free. And yeah, Gaseous doesn't really have the capacity of army to deal with that. So lots of harvesters have been taken out. Another harvester here taken out for free with the 3 heavy tanks. Gaseous army a little bit out of position there. Oh dear. Oh dear, that's a 4th harvester. Yeah, Anju definitely got this. Gaseous is going to stall way too much. Here's that flank going around, taking the SD out again. Not a single medium tank has been built for Gaseous this entire game. He has been struggling to get eco, and he also has been struggling to get any army going out as well. Here's another army able to attack a refinery. Gaseous is being played like a violin so far by Anju. This has been crazy. The pressure from Anju has been relentless and effective at the same time. More harvesters are being hunted down. A 5th harvester is going to go down. Gaseous only left with 3 harvesters. There is the first medium tank of the game. And now the war factory is going to be sniped as well, and Anju can't afford losing that army. That freshly made harvester is going to go down as well. Oh my god. Very, very painful. Gaseous is gonna go and go for a counter attack, but yeah, Anju, look at the reinforcement that Anju has to his disposal. Gaseous doesn't even want to take that fight, and he's going to retreat for now. But that is mainly Gaseous' only army. He has a little bit over here on the right side, which might actually be enough in combination with the static defenses to defend himself against this attack on the right side. So finally Gaseous has been giving some breathing room, but that breathing room is going to need to be used to restore his eco. He still managed to actually did a pretty good job restoring his eco. He's back on 5 harvesters. So yeah, good job on him. But the reason why he's actually floating a little bit of cash is he doesn't have a war factory right now. He's only relying on refineries, and he's still building refineries as well. So the longer this is going to take on, the harder it's gonna get for Gaseous. He doesn't have a war factory at all. He still needs to build an SD again if he wants to build tanks. He did a pretty good attack here, I have to say, but he should not push his luck. Very good attack from Gaseous there. Anju in the meantime is going to try his luck on the right side, but Gaseous is more than ready. Gaseous is still doing a pretty good job actually, despite the fact how he got hurt so much. That flame drop was crazy, and the flanks have been crazy as well. Anju is still ahead in terms of army value with 5k. But once again, it's going to be Gaseous taking the first initiative. However, this is going to hurt his eco again. But Anju is going to be happy to take that trade. And he's going to take 2 harvesters just like that. Gaseous not paying attention at all with his harvesters. And Anju actually being able to preserve his harvester still. Anju now is going to move straight towards the middle. There's not much to be killed here after all. Most of the focus for Gaseous has been on the left side. Okay, well, actually, Gaseous should have seen the army move to the left. He can actually flank it and close it in on the right side, but his reactions might be a little bit too late. He's preemptively setting up pillboxes as close as he can. Needs to keep those harvesters alive because he's going to need those. Gaseous once again trying to attack, but it's not the best engagement here without any army. He is going to be able to push through, but he's trading very poorly because of the vision advantage plus defender's advantage for Anju. He is going to deny that. Oh, straight into a flame tower as well. Yeah, immediately going to retreat back. And Anju is using this flank to the fullest here. Being able to go in and out, and he's doing a good job as well, making sure that Gaseous keeps his army splitted constantly. But yeah, Gaseous is still alive. Will he be able to turn it around is the question. Because even after all the damage he has suffered, he is still in here. He still has a decent army. 27k versus 32k. But Anju is doing such a good job being able to attack all of the eco from Gaseous, and once again this army is getting caught. I wonder. Oh, hello. Refinery has been stolen with the NG. But 2 harvesters going down. A third one is going to go down as well. The power of heavy tanks is ridiculous. Yep. Once again, every single time when Gaseous can restore his eco, it's getting crippled as fast as that. Oh wait, where are those rocket soldiers going? Oh, that might have been a misclick mistake. He also pulled away all of his rockets from that army. That is definitely a mistake. Probably clicked all units, or, you know. Oh, Gash is getting overrun now in his expansion. He's gonna try and save it, but the reinforcements are going to arrive way too late. And look at this big pink blob currently going in because of all that chaos. Oh, actually, he did remember to keep the rocket soldiers on attack move this time. Small flank here on the right side. That was the one killing the oil earlier. Is gonna kill another harvester. And it seems like the MCV got destroyed as well, so he can no longer rely on pillboxes. And look at the sheer amount of heavy tanks here. But so far, defense of Gaseous is working out. Yeah, only rockets right now is pretty poor. Once again, unfortunately, he didn't use this to kill the expansion. That would have been a big blow to Anju's eco as well, because actually Anju's eco is not great either. He lost both of his refineries over here. The only eco he's relying on so far is this expansion and that expansion. So this battle is, it's hard to say, but Gaseous is also still on 5 harvesters, so the fact he has been without an SD for this entirety of the game, and his eco has been crippled constantly, he is still here fighting. Pretty epic game so far, have to say. Good job by both players so far. But, you know, the sheer numbers of Anju might eventually turn this around. Gaseous is gonna make a new MCV, or that's probably, no, that's his only MCV. He's gonna try and restore the main base. But here we go. Gaseous once again is gonna try an offense, but look at the defense from Anju already. This is entire army is going to be cleaned up. Nothing that Gaseous can do about it. And at the same time, good pressure here. Finally using the, oh, that's a good Tesla coil. The only threat here was the medium tank, and that has been dealt with. In the meantime, here's another attack onto the expansion. Once again, harvesters are falling left and right. Gaseous is trying to defend yet again, but just like that, 3 harvesters going down in total. The 4th one might go down as well. It's gonna be close. Magic Pixel light tanks are gonna try and crush. Actually, some decent crushes right there. But once again, the damage has been done. Gaseous and Anju are both without cash. Let's have a look at the earnings graph in the meantime. Look at this back and forth. It has been crazy. Like, Anju has been doing a pretty good job to keep the pressure going. But unfortunately, at the same time, he has not been able to restore his own eco. Anju does have the bigger army value yet. But here comes Gaseous with the counterattack onto eco as well. Flame tower is not going to be enough. Harvesters are still working over here as well. So actually, Gaseous can take out both of these expansions. He cannot keep the ref alive though. Needs to kill the refinery. But yeah, what a crazy game this is. Like, this has been ridiculous. The endurance from Gaseous and the confidence, and maybe a little bit stubborn as well. But it seems like Anju has enough. Look at this big pink blob. This is gonna wipe the floor with Gaseous' entire army. Hey, Wizzy, how you doing, man? Welcome, dude. How have you been, good sir? Yeah, now his entire army is going to be destroyed. In the meantime, Gaseous is going to try and defend yet again. But even with his full sheer of forces, he is not going to be able to defend this. Could be better. What's up, dude? What's on your mind? What's wrong? I heard you departed from Hamilton Bright. Or, you know, Google Nest did. It's kind of crazy. Don't worry about it. Hey man, I'm always worried about my friends. So, you know, if you want to talk, I'm always here. You know me. Well, Gaseous is fighting hard to try and take back his main base. Or, you know, I guess the land for his main base. Because Anju might turn into a real estate agent and just claim this land for himself and sell it to the highest bidder. And actually he did a pretty decent job, but he has no MCV anymore. That's his last production building as well. This is over. I do have to say, good fight from Gaseous. He calls the GG, and it is a 1-1 after all. Pretty insane match. I can see why this made it to the highlights as well. Well played.
Battle control terminated.